Welcome to the training Self-Evaluation in the Early Years. This is the first video of a three-part series. This has been designed to support leaders and practitioners with the ongoing journey of improvement to ensure a high-quality service. It is linked to the Building High Quality Foundation documents created by East Lothian Council's Early Years Central team, and they can be found on the website.
This training is broken down into 3 separate videos, Part 1, Part 2 and Part 3. By the end of Part 1, you will be able to understand what self-evaluation is and the importance of why we do this, and know which key documents you can engage with to support self-improvement. Self-evaluation is a process used to recognise what your setting is doing well and identify what needs improvement. This process will help establish a starting point from which you can create a plan with clear priorities and set out actions which will improve outcomes for staff, children and families. It's about taking a theme or aspect and reflecting on it in depth. Overall, it shows you know your setting well and what you're working on to provide the best service, ensuring the best possible outcomes for children. Reflection should be part of your daily practice. This can be done through morning huddles, staff meetings, professional discussions, or focused self-evaluation exercises. Whilst self-evaluation may be within your quality assurance calendar, it's not a one-off event and it should be done in practice and responding to the needs of your service. Your self-evaluation should be the evidence and documentation of your setting's improvement journey. It's what inspectors use to inform their evaluations. It's the evidence of what you're telling them. It's about everyone within your setting, children, families, staff and other stakeholders all having an input in making your setting the best it can be. When we talk about self-evaluation in early learning and childcare, it's important to recognise that this isn't an additional task or a separate document. It's something that's woven through the national guidance and expectations. National guidance makes it very clear that high quality practice depends on practitioners and settings taking time to reflect, evaluate and improve what they do based on experiences and outcomes of children. If we look at realising the ambition, self-evaluation sits at the heart of the guidance, even though the term itself might not always be used explicitly. The document encourages us to be reflective practitioners, to think carefully about how children experience their learning, play and relationships, and to consider what is working well and what could be improved. The Quality Improvement Framework makes the expectation around self-evaluation even more explicit. It clearly states that self-evaluation is the starting point for improvement. Settings are expected to know themselves well, to understand their strengths, identify areas of development, and use this information to plan meaningful improvement. Across national guidance, a consistent message comes through. Self-evaluation is not about paperwork for its own sake. It's about creating a culture where reflection is part of everyday practice. We're now going to go through a few examples of different national and practice documents to show how self-evaluation is woven throughout them. What you'll notice is that although these documents may use different language, they are all asking us to do the same thing: to stop, reflect, and think critically about our practice and the impact it has on our children. Starting with the Quality Improvement Framework, you'll see that self-evaluation is built directly into the structure through the challenge questions. These questions are designed to prompt professional reflection. They ask us not just to describe what we do, but to think about how well we do it and what difference it makes for children. Within our East Lothian Council Building High Quality Learning Stories guidance, you will also find reflective questions. The questions may support you to reflect on learning stories within your setting. Within Setting the Table, self-evaluation has been embedded through their checklists. These prompts encourage settings to review their practice against the clear expectations and consider whether their approach is meeting the national guidelines. Similarly, Gender Equal Play Guidance uses reflective questions to support self-evaluation. These questions encourage practitioners to think critically about attitudes, assumptions, and interactions within their setting. Across all of these documents, we can see a consistent message. Self-evaluation is not a separate process or an additional piece of work. It is woven into guidance through challenge questions, reflective prompts, and review checklists to encourage us to think deeply about our practice and the impact on the children.
Self-evaluation and quality assurance are both important things to be happening within a setting. They are both essential to the continuous improvement process, but there is a distinct difference between them. Quality assurance is usually focused on monitoring and the tools we use to make sure that we're in line with national expectations. Self-evaluation is what we do with that information though. It's that reflective process where we analyse the information we have to ensure quality for the children and families within our service. Can you think of some quality assurance ideas or quality assurance activities that you undertake in your setting? You may want to pause this video now to reflect a little bit further. Here are a few examples of quality assurance that can be undertaken within a setting. That could be observing playroom practice, environmental audits, looking at tracking of children's progress, ensuring it's all in place. It could be monitoring learning journals, ensuring that there's dates, ensuring that there's quality of observations within them. It could be an annual look at policy and procedures, surveys, focus groups, medication reviews. These are really important. Peer observations, learning walks, SLT observations. Those are all quality assurance activities, but they need to lead to something. It's the so what at the end of these activities. What is it leading to? What improvement is it leading to? And that is where self-evaluation comes in. It's that analysis of the information we have that will lead to decisions about what you're going to do next. In autumn 2025, Education Scotland and Care Inspectorate launched the new National Quality Improvement Framework. Self-evaluation is woven throughout this document through illustrations and challenge questions. It also has a unique quality indicator regarding self-evaluation. This document is key in which we can evaluate ourselves against. The blueprint for 2020, which concerns the expansion of the 1140 hours, has 10 criteria in which we should be judging ourselves against, and criteria 4 is all about self-evaluation and improvement. So who is responsible for self-evaluation? Self-evaluation is usually led by an owner or a manager or a deputy or a head teacher, but is delegated out. We know that practitioners on the ground evaluate and self-evaluate regularly, changing environment or adding new resources, giving ideas and suggestions on how to improve things.
So everybody is responsible. Throughout this series, we will share real-life examples from settings across East Lothian and how they have implemented the self-evaluation cycle into their practice. In this example, you can see the setting have evaluated their rota and responsibilities. They have followed the self-evaluation cycle by identifying which area they're going to improve, evaluating it, identifying their plan, what they're going to do next, implementing the changes, and then followed up with the review. We've now come to the end of part 1. Please proceed to part 2 to continue.